Well, hello, and welcome to another Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems. We're back again. It's been a whole
Hey,
half a week or whatever, and we're back to answer some questions. I'm Stephen Allen,
I'm Eric McElroy. Look at
and
this.
yeah,
It's been a weekend, and we are exactly. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? If it's a weekend or a weekday
yeah.
anymore, does it make a difference?
Either way, there's no trousers involved. Thank you. Messages coming through already. Wherever you are watching this stream, you can message and ask questions, and we'll try and see if we can help. Mike Manera says it's 5 to 9. That's good. We started the stream at
Yeah.
it's 5 to 9. And Jeff says, "Evening, chaps. Evening, Jeff. How's it
Hello,
going?"
Jeff.
Yeah. Before we jump into any of this topical comedy lark,
Yeah.
can we briefly talk about the tie that I can see that you're wearing?
Yes, I'm very excited because I was a little bit hesitant when we started doing the show a few decades ago, whenever the lockdown began. Steve was like, "We need to dress up. We need to put on a little bit of an effort." And I was like, "Ugh, fine, just the top half." But it did make me go through a collection because in the comedy we're in, we don't generally wear tie. Well, you have started wearing a tie on
Yeah.
stage. I don't, and so going through my collection of ties, these are ties from nearly 2 decades ago. As you can, I don't know if you can tell that or not.
It's truth.
I
That
mean, look
looks
how
like
wide this tie is.
yeah. That actually okay. I've got a wide one. I've got a wide pink one that next time we do a show, Thursday night show, I'll try and see if I can best you with it. But
Bring
I don't have any ties that look like that. Your tie looks like if I stare at it for long enough, I'll see a 3D picture of a dolphin.
Hey, style in 2002 came cheap, let me
Yeah,
tell you.
that's all we could
But
afford
it's
back
good. But I
then.
still remember how to tie the tie. That's nice to know. That's not gone away because I may need that when the job center's finally reopened. Oh dear
Yeah,
God.
I couldn't be bothered to do the top button on the shirt today. So why
What?
bother? Why bother?
You didn't tell me we were doing top buttons. I'm
Well,
choking.
I tried to hide it under the tie.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that
We
is.
earlier today
I
I
mean,
filmed another episode of the Mash Report, another bits for the Mash Report, and I've only got one bit of filming left tomorrow. All series, no trousers. Quite proud of
well
that.
done. Well done. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. You just had to mention that early on that you're on that national television show.
Not wearing trousers. Yeah. Have you ever been on national TV not wearing trousers?
Uh, no,
Cry and Watch doesn't count.
yeah. No, I think I've always been on one of those because I've done more of the news shows where I'm on like a sofa and they can see your legs. So,
Good that
um,
you spotted that beforehand and didn't do the Nigel Farage one errant testy hanging out the side, that kind of thing.
yeah, great way to start the show, Steve. Right. So anyway, those are our outfits. Welcome to the show. We'd also like to welcome people. We've got a load of different people. Like, some people bought tickets for this, so
Mm.
that's made us raise our game. Thank you for those who did purchase tickets. There is a line there if you want to contribute throughout the show. If you can, if you can't, or if there's no requirement, but we are completely unemployed. But as we put that in there, but we're just glad that you're here. We're watching and hopefully safe. And you can send us problems throughout the show. We can try and solve them. But otherwise, we've got some things that we want to talk to you about.
Yeah. Just a quick shout out. Oh, that's a horrible phrase, isn't it? But Mary says, "Hello, greetings, gentlemen. Greetings, Mary." That's on YouTube. Chris on Facebook says, "Is that a wedding tie?" Was it?
No, I mean, you missed my wedding tie last week. It's still online. You can watch it. I wore the wedding tie already.
So yeah, keep the messages coming through. Do you know what? That leads us nicely into what I wanted to talk about right at the top, and that is technology. Especially if
Yeah.
you're watching this from the Isle of Wight, well done. Because well, download the tracing app and get the UK back to work is the headline of today's Times, and this is the app which apparently has not managed to get any certificates in terms of how secure it is, but they want us to put an app on our phone to trace us. They're testing it out in the Isle of Wight, and I like this because for so long now, the news has been saying, do you trust technology? Phones can listen to you, you know. Everyone's got those stories, haven't they, of like they have a conversation about something, then they look at their phone, next thing you know, there are adverts for the things they were talking about, which is, I always say, it's really useful, because if ever my mates leave their phone on the table when they go to the bar, I just lean in and start talking about sex toys, and they've cheered up. So that's nice. Eric, are you worried about technology and the imposition of our security freedoms?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do agree that they're listening. I think I might have told you this before that when I got my new iPhone, when you put it on airplane mode at night, the Wi-Fi still stays on mysteriously for updates and whatnot. And in the morning, I noticed that I started seeing ads on Facebook for anti-snoring devices. I, I mean, that means Facebook is agreeing with my wife that I snore, which I know emphatically is not true
Yeah.
I don't
But
wake myself up.
Everyone, yeah, so you've never heard it, so that's fine. Everyone, for a while, in fact, when I used to write sketches for the BBC when I had a job, I remember writing sketches about how people were worried that the police were using facial recognition technology, and we're not worried about that now. Mainly because every time we leave the house, we will be wearing face masks, which really, well done, spending millions on facial recognition technology for everyone to look like this. Excellent use of public finance.
Yeah.
But the moment they're testing this app down in the Isle of Wight, if you are watching and listening from the Isle of Wight, do send us messages. What's it been like for you? To find out more about this, I wanted to do a little special feature where I am joined by a scientist on the line. Should be joining me now. Hello.
Hello.
Good to have you with us. Right, thank you. I think the line's going to hold. I just wonder if you could tell us a little about how this Isle of Wight app is going to work.
Certainly. It uses Bluetooth and will store details of who you've been near. If you get symptoms, it can alert anyone that you've spent time with.
Okay, I think I understand how that will work. Could you give us an example?
If you're found to have coronavirus, it could inform your wife, your sister, your cousin.
Okay.
And seeing as this is the Isle of Wight, that could just be one text.
Are you doing an incest joke? It's a cheap joke, and also we're in lockdown. Who else are we going to be doing it with?
Okay. And, I did want to address the concerns about privacy. Yes, it is tracking you, but try to look at the benefits. It means that if someone nicks your phone, just get someone you know to pretend to have the virus, the robber will get the alert and shit themselves. They might even hand the phone back.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us. A scientist. Interesting stuff there.
Wow. That's
I think, so if you've got any concerns, any questions about the security app, do get in touch. We'll see if we can answer them. Would you actually put the app on your phone, Eric?
I figure if it allows us to go out and do gigs and work and get away from our families, I mean, spend more time with our families in other places, then yes, I will do it. At this stage, I will do anything. I have, I mean, worried about privacy when you've been stuck in the house with the same 4 people for the last 43 days.
Yeah, no lock on the door. Okay.
It's no privacy. There's no privacy.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Well, we'll take messages and comments and all that stuff on that. Meanwhile, back to you, Eric. What have you got for us?
Yeah, well, I mean, privacy, obviously it's not good for everyone. And this just came up from Japan. I don't know if you saw this. And apparently it's not just people that are feeling a little bit neglected during lockdown. Apparently at an aquarium in Japan, their eels are feeling a little bit sad as well. I don't know. Do you like eels, Steve?
I mean, I've eaten them before, if that's the kind of question you're asking. I didn't realise.
These aren't to be eaten. I know it's Japan, and they do different types of cuisine, but this is not that kind of eel. Basically, this is a story that a Japanese aquarium has urged the public to video chat with their eels because the eels are starting to forget that humans exist.
Oh, that must be terrible for them, because I commonly forget that eels exist, so I'm fine with that. Okay.
I mean, I don't know, but I didn't see the stories. I mean, how long, these eels, I don't know if eels live a long time or what if, the joke about like the memory of a goldfish, maybe an eel, clearly an eel doesn't have the memory of an elephant because they never forget. So they're somewhere in between on that spectrum.
Yeah.
I would imagine. But these eels are in a tank. And I guess that means they're self-isolating as well. But they live in a tank, so they're always isolating. I don't know how old they are. I don't know if they have pre-existing conditions. I don't know what the concerns are. But I have a feeling this is a gimmick just to raise awareness for the aquarium. But I'm not going to be cynical about this, because what they've done is they've taken like iPads and put them around the tank. Because, in an aquarium, people go up and they look at the tank and everything else. So people can dial in and have a chat with the eels. And I thought, you know what? I'm always too cynical about these things. I want to do my part. We're in a lockdown. And so I gave them a call. Right. Okay. I'm doing a bit for lockdown. I'm going to call these little eels and say hello because they need FaceTime apparently. Here we go. Give them a little bit of a call. Come on. Come on, little eels. Come on, pick up. Oh, look at you. Look at you, you little eels. Look at you. Do you miss the people coming to see you? Do you? Do you miss them? Hello? Hello, little eel. Oh, you cute little eel. Oh, so cute. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. Oh, I bet you love this.
welcome. Rest in peace. Sleep.
What I like about that is, was it last week when I did some videos and you said this is evidence that I was losing it?
But I think, I mean, can you get nominated for BAFTA for a live stream show? I mean, some of the performances we've been putting on here, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're losing our minds.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Well done.
So, thank you.
So, would you Skype an aquatic animal? Is a question we can answer on some of the messages. Meanwhile, back in the messages, Sharon says, "Does the app use GPS? I don't mind it tracking, as I use Strava for my running, and I'm happy with that." That's a good point, actually. All of these people saying, "Look, I don't trust the government having an app on our phone that will track us." Meanwhile, see exactly where I've been for my run because I've been doing running. Although I've not been running very far, so I've been just screenshotting Google Maps and just drawing one on.
That's a good way. I hadn't thought about that.
No one checks. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. You now.
I'd like to talk about what it's going to be like after lockdown for us, if we can, because look, hopefully we're coming to the end of lockdown. And we start to ask questions. How's life going to change? According to one news story, there will be reduced capacity on trains and hot desking will be banned. Oh, finally. You know me well enough to realise I never like hot desking. It's effectively rubbing people around desks with their dirty germs. And I tell you what, hot desking increases. People borrowing my pens. I don't like people borrowing. Because this is what happens. "Oh, can I borrow your pen?" And you give them a pen and they go, "All right, do some writing." Well, and you go, "Oh, they're putting it in their mouth. Why would they do that?" Well, I was thinking about and then what I want you to do with this is you can have it back now. Oh, that is what it looks like to me when people are doing all that dirty business. There are some changes as well in terms of how we can get together and meet. Apparently weddings will be smaller, and they've worked out that 5 is the smallest number of people you can have in a wedding. And smaller weddings with not that many guests will be good for bigamists and philanderers. Because if there's no one there, there's no one there to object. Most weddings will end up going like this.
And if anyone here knows of any reason that these two should not be joined in holy matrimony, speak now, or forever hold your peace. No one? Nothing?
Get on with it.
Okay. Do you, Darren Day, take this woman?
Do you know who Darren Day is?
Darren Day. No.
Probably for the best that we don't dwell on it. But he won't be watching. I'll get away with that joke. And then another news story happened this weekend. Juries. The number of people required to try people needs to be cut. 12 is too many. It's dirty. You'll be spreading diseases having 12 people deciding if you're guilty or not. They reckon they can get it down to 7. And it dawned on me that 7 is just the better number. Because 12, you can be split down the middle. You can have a hung jury or whatever it's called. Yeah. 6 in favour, 6 against. Whatever. 7, it's a prime number. It's an odd number. You will never get a case where it's exactly split down the middle unless there is one absolute idiot on that jury. To exemplify this, I didn't act this one out. I decided to do an animation, no expense spared animation, with a little vignette that I like to call courtroom drama.
So, it looks like 3 of us jurors find the defendant guilty, and 3 think that he's not guilty. It seems the final decision rests with you, juror number 7. Oh, does it? Well, I didn't watch everything, but the bits that I did watch, yeah, because he was the one who did the thing, but then there was could you just put me down as a maybe? We can't find the defendant maybe. It's guilty or not guilty. No, I'm going to need extra time to think about it. Oh, we're going to be here all night. Right, I'm going to order some food. What do you want, pizza or Chinese? Oh, balls.
You were saying about Oscars? If there's one going for best animated short,
you're not going to get it.
No,
I mean, You can see we're losing our minds, can't you? I mean, if the people out there watching don't realize that we're used to going out in public frequently and interacting with large groups of people who we actually have made laugh. And this is not what we're programmed for. Oh, dear God. Before that happened, though, I can say that we do appreciate people who purchase tickets. And if you did, great. Those of you who can, you can also donate to our show because we appreciate that. That's why we have the link to Ko-fi, because it's like, oh, you can buy us a Ko-fi. I don't name these things. But someone donated £9 to us earlier. And by someone, I mean, that's literally what it says. They just wrote someone. So
Nice.
but I'd also like to thank before that animation, Joe and Jenny donated some money as well. So I think there's no refunds. Just to make that very clear.
Ouch.
No policy
Mean.
at Comics in Quarantine solving problems. So thank you for contributing if you can. Obviously, enjoy.
Any more messages? While you find some, I can read these out. Chris Curling says, Darren Day, that's showbiz. Yeah, I keep my references up to date. And Peter on YouTube says, quarantine problems. I'm having vivid dreams, loads of them. Anything you can advise to either reduce the amount or make them more amusing. Nice. More cheese and watch better TV before you go to bed. That's one solved easily.
Yeah, or if you just drink a lot, but you black out.
Yeah. And Jeremy says, is swimming in the river acceptable as a valid form of exercise? Not where I live, up by the Thames. It's a valid form of getting yourself a disease.
Yeah, I live in a posh bit of the Thames, so it's fine here. So if you're around Richmond and Kingston upon Thames, it's fine. It's prosecco.
Yeah, you live Gravesend. It's just factory outlet.
Yeah, you don't want it. There's no bubbles left by the time.
You don't want to know what the bubbles are for. Oh dear. Lovely. Well, right, back to you, Eric.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of industries out there. We know some people, watching, maybe they're like us that are essentially unemployed right now, furloughed people, or we don't know what's going to happen with their jobs, that kind of thing. But industries are starting to look at a return. And one of the industries that's looking to make a real big splash, literally, is the Carnival cruises. Now, they were kind of, I don't know if they've been tainted by this. I don't know. Steve, would you ever imagine going on a cruise? I know, because we've never gigged. I don't think neither of you or I have ever done the cruise gigs.
No. People talk about them a lot, and I realize my act is never particularly suitable. It's, I don't work that clean, as you'll find out by the end of the show. I wouldn't want to have to do an hour of, not my favorite material.
Yeah, it's not known for being the best, but it pays. Whatever. I do it now. If you're hiring, I would do it now. But in general, I can't imagine people booking cruises after what's happened. Because they've suffered just like we have. They've been banned in the U.S., but after August 1st, it looks like they can start making cruises again. Carnival's made some things. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? You're trapped on a ship in tight quarters for weeks, small rooms, sharing meals, entertainment, and little kiddie pools. I mean, I don't know, but you don't want to turn anything down. We were able, and again, we need help for the show. We've actually managed to get sponsorship from the cruises, and we've got one of their first premiere ads here.
Oh, so much better than last year.
Never again. Everyone deserves a great vacation at a great price. Get on board a Carnival cruise and get more fun for all.
I mean, that can't possibly get us sued, can it? I mean, the good thing is if we get sued, the publicity for the show would be incredible.
Yeah.
And I will make up for it to Carnival Cruises in that the money that anybody contributes to the show, I will book a cruise.
Really?
So, no.
Yeah, in that case, donate some extra, because he's going to need hand wipes, he's going to need face masks, he's going to need tablets of some sort, and a lot of bleach.
Who would book that? What? What? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess if you have a dream and that dream involves you being trapped with strangers while you die of a deadly disease, go for it.
Oh, lovely. Congratulations.
So, back to you, Steve.
Right. I would like to now also pay tribute to someone from America who might sue us. I don't know if you know who Alex Jones is, and I don't mean the Welsh one from The One Show. There's a big fat guy in America who's right-wing conspiracy theorist, shock jock, kind of oddball type chap. I actually subscribe to his podcast in the same way that I subscribe to those Trump emails, right? I listen to so many of them because they are just rambling and they are in a certain way beautiful, but not in a way where you want the information from them. But this kind of trended on the internet. Alex Jones said something about what he would do to survive post-coronavirus crisis. And he had a very interesting choice of words. Let's have a look.
You know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. See, my superpower is being honest. I'll eat your ass. I will.
Yep, I believe him. Because when I first saw that clip, I thought he was saying, that he would use them as a source of food. But now I realize what he's effectively saying is, like, I will eat your ass. If I need food, I will debase myself sexually. I will eat your ass. I will go to town on your butthole. I will worship at Satan's great brown mouth. I will do whatever it takes. I've checked. I've got supplies. I've extrapolated. I don't need to do this. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to go out. You buy me dinner. I eat your ass. Now, my daughters will not starve. I ain't gonna starve. I'm carrying so much extra weight. I don't even need to think about this. But I do think about this. I think about it a lot. Think about you and me. Think about eating your ass. My superpower is honesty. I'm honest. Not with myself about my sexual proclivities, but I will eat your ass. And the people I feel sorry for in all of this are his neighbours. Imagine, right? You're just minding your own business, flicking through Twitter on the weekend. Jonathan, that man at number 5 is talking about eating your ass again. So yeah, I pay tribute to Alex Jones.
I'm glad that we dressed up for that. I think if you're going to do that, you need to be wearing a tie because that makes it highbrow. Yeah. It's satire.
What's wrong with that? This is what I've realised. In terms of, like, if you need a guy who's got a body mass index that's too high, who's bald, and I can kind of do an impression of him. This is going to be, I could be the British Alex Jones, but there already is one, and she's small and Welsh. Darn it.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, what you don't realize, the calories around that part of the body are tremendous. When you've been munching down there as much as he has.
The rump is fatty. I would
that's
have it cooked longer because that is a marbled piece of the body.
It's just, he doesn't literally mean he's going to eat their ass. It's just like, I'm going to bust your ass. That's normal. If you say it like that. But I think he just mixed up his metaphors a little bit. So, like, I'm going to eat you ass. I can't.
There's no way through it. There's no way through it. Yeah. Okay. So, but thank you for your fellow countrymen giving us entertainment like that. Very much enjoyed it. Some messages as well. Is Donald Trump on the right track? Says Charlene on YouTube. Do you reckon we can take that question really quickly?
Yeah.
I was going to say no.
Well, I mean, it depends on which track you want to be on. If it's a track towards a fascist dictatorship where he and his children rule a newfound empire for generations to come, yes, he's doing quite well. And he plans his next State of the Union. He will stand up there and go, I will eat your ass.
I will eat your ass.
But in a New York Trumpian way. So, yeah. I will eat your ass.
Totally. I will totally eat your ass. Simon says, am I the only one who sees the inability of people to follow a one-way system in a supermarket? How do we deal with these people? You are right. I can't believe it. There are arrows. I mean, we should have practiced in the car park. There are arrows on the floor of the car park and no one pays attention to them. And there are a couple of supermarkets around here where you walk in and the one-way system takes you in, down one, across, round and out. And there is an entire aisle that you can't get. You've got to queue up again to get back into that middle aisle.
Yeah. I can see where it's problematic because, I mean, the arrows in the car park of a grocery store, they're just advisory. You don't have to follow those arrows.
You're one of them, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I'm one of them.
Yeah, one of them. Any more messages, you can keep them coming through on wherever you're watching this. And you can also just tweet us at Mr. Stephen Allen and at Erich McElroy. Right, yes. What else you got for us?
I mean, how many things can't go wrong at one time? I mean, we talked about it, I think, last week. There's an asteroid that's, within spitting distance of the Earth right now. It's going to miss us, but it's pretty damn close. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I have watched everything that's on Netflix that was ever made. I mean, not just The King of the Tigers. I'm talking about The Prince of the Puppies. I've watched everything. And now this story broke today that we've got a clip.
Now with what's called murder hornets, reported in the U.S. for the first time. Here's ABC's Zoreen Shah.
Tonight, killer hornets invading the U.S. and Canada. Asian giant hornets, also known as murder hornets, spotted in Washington state. These hornets grow up to 2 inches long, roughly 5 times the size of a bee. And in Japan, where they originate, they reportedly kill up to 50 people each year.
I mean, what is happening? Are the hornets trying to eat my ass? I mean, what is happening? I don't understand. I was like, and I did some research, like, why is this happening now?
Yeah.
And I found out why they've come for us. I've got the proof.
Discovering a big secret.
How did this get here?
It's just honeyberry.
This is stealing.
You reckon that's why?
This is Mother Nature's revenge. We've taken their honey. We're eating their bats. We're watching Love Island.
Oh, although, have you heard they've cancelled? They've cancelled Love Island.
That's right. She's winning.
They've cancelled Love Island because apparently they don't want the virus to spread. Although I'm not sure they're talking about COVID-19.
There you go. So I mean, they keep saying we're not supposed to kill the bees. But look at this.
Murder wasps. That's the last thing we need. Murder wasps. Right, you keep your messages coming through. I also wanted to quickly mention what else was I going to do. Oh yes, there was a woman who made me feel better about myself. This is a very difficult time during lockdown, and we all end up. I've been questioning myself more than I ever have. I've started to worry about my abilities to do various things. There's a woman in America who hit the news when she was spotted doing this.
How you doing?
Pretty good. I need 10 on pump one, please.
Where'd you get that mask from?
Well, since we have to wear them and it makes it harder to breathe, it just makes it a lot easier to breathe.
Cutting it? Yeah, I'll do that too. Thanks for the advice.
Now, don't mock, because you're going to mock her. But what she's doing is, you got to wear a mask to save your life. But then it makes it difficult to breathe, so she just cuts out a little bit. She's still protecting her cheeks and jowls from the coronavirus. She's only exposing the parts of the body where you catch the virus. So don't mock her. She's happy. She's getting the best of both worlds, and she's happy. And her husband is happy. He thinks that condoms really desensitized the end of the todger. So he's happy, she's happy, and their 17 kids are probably happy. So stop mocking her, Eric.
Right. You know who else could have used one of those masks? Alex Jones.
So he can eat your ass. I will eat your ass and I will keep my cheeks. There is a Jeremy says it isn't it's clear that Alex Jones doesn't live next door to Victoria Beckham because that arse isn't a snack. Oh, you meanie. It's an amuse-bouche.
I think is he implying she's thin? All right. You shouldn't make fun of that woman, okay? She could be wearing a mask like that for religious reasons. Oh. Right? There are religious connotations to wearing these masks. And this has also come from America. And, not everybody should be forced to wear one because it's the will of God.
When we think about the image and likeness of God, that we're created in the image and likeness of God, when we think of image, do we think of a chest or our legs or our arms? We think of their face. I don't want to cover people's faces, Jim. That's the image of God right there. And I want to see it in my brothers and sisters.
Yep, that is right. You don't think about God's thighs. You don't think about God's ass. You don't think about God's super toned chest. Oh, God.
Yeah, ripped. Yeah.
This is so hard. But you think about his face, don't you? That's what you think about. When you think about God, you think about God's face looking at you. Now, actually, we have a picture of God right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, he's wearing that. Oh, wait, hold on. He's wearing a mask, but it's okay because you can't see. It's a Make America Great Again mask. So it's fine.
Nice. Yep.
He's on the team.
What would Jesus do? Wear a mask. Nice. Okay. So we should feel better about masks. Peter says, rewind time and you get stuck in quarantine with Alex Jones. What foods are you going to take in there with you to ensure that he doesn't get a taste for your ass? Good question.
Salsa.
I think you'd just be taking in foods that would be similar in texture so as to distract him. I'm not going to list the food because even I think that's going to go too far. But... Actually,
anything spicy.
Can I do? If we are talking about foods that really make you feel ill, I'll just chuck in the Ollie Murs thing. I wasn't even sure I was going to do this. If you've not seen it, Ollie Murs did the prank where he gets a Pringles tube, he cuts out the bottom, he puts his Ollie Murs penis in it, and then his other half, they're watching a film, she reaches in, touches a little bit of the Ollie Murs tadger, and goes, oh! And I'm just going to, there's a screenshot of him making the hole in the bottom of it and then sitting there with it tucked into his Pringles jar. Now, some people have said this is sexual assault, although technically I think it's sexual assault and vinegar. Where is it? Hang on. Where is it? Is this thing on? Now, what do you mean I'm not taking this story seriously? I think the bigger problem is that what he's done there is he's done a prank that makes me feel worse. Because for those of us living in flats on our own, I can't do that Pringles prank. I can't fool myself into touching my own bits through a Pringles tube unless I'm watching a really good film on Netflix. So that's what I did. I thought if I can get engrossed enough in a film, I could fall for the prank. I got myself a Pringles tub. I got the small one, not the large one, because who am I trying to impress? Come on, be real. And I made myself... This is my own version of a TikTok of me pulling the prank on myself. Let's have a look.
I promise you I'm not trying to short you. I only have $296 in the house. I genuinely thought there was more, but it's all I have. Please, for the church.
Sour cream.
It's not good karma to short change the church, baby. That happened tonight, you had.
God.
You all right?
Yep. Those tickets are non-refundable, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just say that.
A lot of time on my hands. A lot
of time on your hands. That is... I hope you washed it first.
Yep. So we're up to date on that one. Thanks for your messages on that topic. I'm not sure.
Well, we've reached the end of our half hour. I think if you enjoyed it, you can contribute to the show. Or if you just want to pay to make us stop, we'll take money for that as well. If there's no more, I don't think we have any other questions, do we?
No, we've sorted out most of the social media ones that came through. You can keep sending us messages and we'll answer them on the next show, which is Thursday night.
At
9 o'clock. Yeah. In terms of plugging stuff, I mean, if people look in the background of people's bookshelves to see if they're reading books that, like the Michael Gove thing or whatever. If you look, all I've got is copies of the books I released over the last couple of years. So,
nice.
Yeah, buy one of them. Help a brother out.
How many of those have you sold since we started doing the show?
None of them. Look, they're all there. They're all still there. If we look that way, all of them. Yeah, not a single one.
That's a lot. That's a lot of books. So, you've got one more episode going out on Friday of the MASH Report, which is exciting. Yep. I'm apparently going to be on a re-live stream gig for Monkey Barrel Comedy on either, I don't know if it's going out Friday or Saturday night. Nice. So if you check that out, it's me live, funny in front of people. Used to happen. Yeah. And we'll be back here on Thursday at 9 o'clock doing this again with whatever happens in the news then.
Yep, get any questions and messages through to us in time, and we'll answer those. Thank you very much for watching. Donate if you've not bought a ticket or whatever. There's the link down the bottom there. That would be very nice, just to help a brother out and stuff. Until next time, bye.
Bye.